Hello and welcome back to the second episode of the Design Challenge. Today we want to finish up our little project on the side here with the form and with the button. So let's get into it. All right, so first of all, I would start with removing some of the widgets out of the widget tree of the home screen because it's getting a little messy. So for example, that center widget that we have for the logo up here, we will take out and create for that an own folder in the lib structure, maybe widgets. And we create now for that a Dart file that we call logo widget, because I think that we maybe use it in the later parts. So logo widget, we import the material one, adding the whole thing. In the home screen, we now have the opportunity to import the logo widget, use it. So, and you will see no difference, I assume. So we start up the application. And now in the started application, you can see there is no difference. So the logo widget is just taken part. The second one is a very small one, which is just a text. So I will keep it for now. And the third one is now our next big thing. So I will create also for that a widget that I will call the form container widget. It is also for now stateless, form container widget. And we import the material one. And in our home screen, we will import now the form container widget. So, and nothing changed, but still we have now the opportunity to work inside here. All right. So what do we want to achieve? We want to have a container that contains a column of different input fields, right? So if we look in our preview again, you can see it as container that will contain a column, right? Because we have 3 items inside. We have a child here with a column, and inside of that column we have children. And I don't want to specify yet which children, but what I know is they also have to space themselves evenly, right? So main axis alignment is space evenly. For now, is just adding 3 text form fields. Let's take text field for now. We can see if I add 3 of them, we get our default material input fields. Perfect. But as you can also see, the column is currently transparent, which is not helpful for us. So we have to add a decoration for that, and a decoration, box decoration. We did that already the last time. So if you didn't see the episode, up there's the info box. Please check it out. And inside of the box decoration, we start the gradient because we want to have a linear gradient from the bottom left to the top right. So we add the linear gradient. This is a very nice class to create this gradients. It works very well. And here we have to specify some things, right? For example, the colors. And colors is exactly what it says. It is a list of different colors. In my part with the design, it is this one. That is the one that I want to start with. And the other one is just plain white. Here we go. Already the box has already the gradient. So we start on the left, we go to the right. But what we want to achieve is that we go from the bottom left to the top right, right? So we have to go here in the linear gradient, and we have these begin and endings. With the begin, we can say we want to alignment bottom left, and then we want to go to the end top right. So we can see the blue starts here, it's getting white over here, it's getting a later white up there. So this is working fine already. That's it for now for the linear grading. But what we also need is, because we have that rounded borders on the top left and top right inside of the box decoration, we want also to have the border radius. And the border radius is very good because in the border radius we can say we want to specify all different only specific parts of the container. So we want to specify the top left, which gets a radius circular of 30, the bottom right, which gets a radius circular of 30. And if we save, you can immediately see that the border radius is taken over. Good, but not perfect, right? Because it seems that we have to do something with our container, that it's getting some space that we get off. And I would say we don't do that in this form widget. I would suggest that we go back into our home screen and say the whole column takes that space. And now we add here a padding. And if I save now, we see everything gets a bit shrink. And because I don't want to have it all, I take the symmetric and say I just want it horizontal and let's say 12 pixels. And as you see, we only push now from the left and the right inside and not everything. So this looks already pretty neat. I think it is a bit more. So let's take 50. Okay, and now we have nearly what we want to achieve. So next step. inside of our form container widget, we have to make some space around the input fields, because as you can see up here, it's already getting overwritten by the input field, right? So it's standing out of the container. So it seems that we have to create a padding surrounding the children. So we add a padding here, and as you see, if I save, we get a bit more breathing room, but we need a lot more, I think, right? So from the top, it looks like 30, these are 20, and these are 30. And on that side, we have 50 on top and 50 on the bottom. We have 20 in between, and we have 20 on the sides. So for that, we will create an edge inset of symmetric, and we give it a vertical of 50 and a horizontal of 20. And now we are coming already pretty close to our view. But one major difference is there. I can't see the background, which is pretty bad. So what we can do is, instead of using the whole color here, we could give it an opacity with opacity 0.6. And the same thing we should do with the white one. Yep. And if I save, we can see now the background is exactly what we want. And now one more thing, we have to add the box shadow, as you can see. And I think it is a bit less opaque. So I think we should take that to a 1.8 and this to a 1.8. As we see, we get a bit darker and stronger, which is more appealing to that. Okay, so now we need to create the box shadow. So for the box shadow, we have to go back to our box decoration here. And inside of box decoration, we have to add our box shadow. Inside of our box shadow, we need a list of different box shadows. For example, box shadow with the color with an opacity of 0.1 or 0.4, make it a bit stronger. We want to have a blur radius. I give it now 4.0 and an offset that will move the whole thing a bit around to and 1. And as you can see, it's getting even a bit more darker. So it's getting a little bit more darker and also a bit more visual, right? So we can see it much better. I think now we can also remove or reduce the opacity down here again a bit to make it a bit more sophisticated and looks very nice. Maybe it's still a bit too lush. Yeah, maybe to 1.8 it was pretty good. Let's keep it for now. Yeah, I think that's all right. So now we have the inputs, and now we're coming to the interesting part. Let's take a look into the box decoration, as you see. So, and if you remember the last episode, I said that we always want to have everything with a constant if we can. So this color, for example, I would like to have a const for it. So as you can see, whenever I have a normal color with a color code inside, I can write const in front of it. Even if we have this with opacity, it returns as a color, which is a const variable at the end. But as you see here, for example, we have that white, there it is not possible. So if I say here const, it should get red, right? Because that is a bit different. So now what we can do is, instead of writing here white, we jump inside, getting the color with the filled one and replace it here and say const again. And with that, everything here inside gets a const. And because now, when we have everything inside as a const variable declared, you can see that we also can set the box shadow. We can see that the const shadow is also a const. So now we should be able to have the whole box decoration as a const. But as you can see, it's getting red in the linear gradient because we have here the with opacity again. And to avoid that, we have to remove these parts and have to set them as values up here. So if we want to have it more opaque, we can have like this and this. So we have to calculate the amount of opacity by hand, more or less. And if you have never seen the color code of Flutter, you will see that 0xFF or AA, FF stands for fully opaque. So we can, it is 100% visible. And if I reduce that, for example, to AA, you can see it reduces the shade here. And now we managed it to have everything as a const, and all that thing can go up as a constant declaration. I can write here const k box decoration form container, and I can put all of that stuff inside. It's getting one time declared, and it will never be changed. And with that, I can reuse that down here, and everything should be as quick as possible in rebuilding time. Perfect. So now we managed it to create a const box decoration. And as you can see, it takes a bit more effort to make that all constant, but it is worth the effort because we are getting a much faster app with that. So always think performant, and that is most important. Of course, you could also create your own color codes and material colors, and also that would work. If you think about performance, you should have always a const here. Now we talked a lot about const and decorations of this container, but what about our input fields? Our input fields look absolutely not close to what this is looking like. We have an icon, we have here some spacing around, we have even a border inside of the text field, and then we have even hint text inside here. So inside of our text field, we have now to create some stuff. So let's have a look. How can we solve all of that? Inside of our text field, we want to decorate that again. And if we take a look, there is also a decoration which takes an input decoration. So let's give him that what it needs. And now we have different options to add here. For example, what we can add is a content padding, and we have different stuff that we can add to that input decoration. One of the fields that I want to add is the information of how it should look like, right? So we want to change the border styling. What we want to have is an outline input border with a border radius, because we want to have it rounded, border radius circular of 30. If I save, you can immediately see, oh, it worked. We have now the possibility to have this text field with a border surrounding it, and it looks completely different than before. And if I remove that border radius even, you can see it's getting squared. But as I see here already, that text field getting more and more complicated, of course, because we want to make it white and everything and having something like that. Instead of copying it 3 times the whole code, I also create for that an own widget. So this is a new Dart file. We call it custom form field, and of course form field widget, just because of consistencies. So custom form field widget. And if I import now a material package, we get the whole custom form field, and that should be fine. And now if we use that custom form field in the home screen 3 times, we have seen that before in the form container, 1, 2, 3, and we import the one, then we see we have now these 3 things. And I think space evenly is maybe not the right one. We need space between or space around. Okay, that doesn't work like I expected. Okay, maybe I have to give them, the easiest way to give them some box is to give them a sized box in that case, with a height of 10, for example, or I think 20 is the correct one. And you can see we get some space between them. So now we have managed to have these 3 input fields. We have some size box. We created another widget, custom form field widget, which has then the input decoration and everything that we need. We have managed it to get this blue color around it if we select it. And what we also need is we want to make it white, and the surroundings, it seems there is no border surrounding it. So first of all, we want to fill it. And with that, we have to set the parameter filled to true. Fill color is in our case white. And if we look into our app, we can see now we have 3 times the input field and 3 times it's white. So now we managed it to create that input field with the outline border. The next step I would like to take is I would like to add an icon in front of it. The input decoration offers us a position that calls prefix icon. And as you see, there is a lot of stuff inside. And the prefix icon gives us the opportunity to put a widget inside. And inside of that widget, we want to have a container that has a child, which is an icon with the icons dot, for example, male. And the color of color 0xFF5EA7B. And now we have our little image here. That's beautiful. So now how we can add the border on the right side of that image or on the left side of that text field. We have here an image, an icon in front, and we have a container surrounding that. So what we could do is adding here a padding that with an edge inset of only, let's say, left 8 pixels and right 8 pixels. And then we say we have also a margin, also edge insets, only right 8 pixels. So we can move a bit around this icon, as you can see. But still, we are not quite there yet. So first we have to have the box decoration because we want to have a border, right? So our prefix icon container gets a decoration with a border. We give the border right, Color, we all have done that already, so I'm a bit faster here in that area. And a width of 1. So now we managed it to create a border on the right side of that icon. Alright guys, so that's for this episode. On the right side you find the subscribe button, and at the top of me you find the 2 videos that you are maybe interested in. Thank you for watching this show. If you liked that episode, please leave a like button. Until the next time. See ya guys.